Hello, boys and girls, and happy Friday. My name is Miss Moore, and I will be giving you all your career exploration piece for the part of this program for the next few weeks, okay? So, just to tell you a little bit about me, I grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I went to school in Wake County from elementary to high school, all right? I went to college in Greensboro, and now I am in graduate school. So, with this presentation, we'll just be talking about jobs from A to Z, all right? Okay, so before we get into the presentation, these are just some pre-test questions that I would like for you all to start thinking about, okay? All right, so what is a job? So a job is work you do to make money. A job can help you be responsible. And even though you all aren't old enough to have a real job yet, you can have a job at home or in your class at school. So, for instance, at home, your parents might assign you chores to do that can be considered a job. Or at school, when you all go back to in-person learning, you all may have classroom jobs. So maybe being the person that's the line leader for that day or the week, or the person that helps clean up. So those are just jobs that you all can do right now while you are still in elementary school. All right, so this is the post-test. You saw the pre-test questions earlier. So I would like for you all to just answer these questions, okay? All right, so this is just a little pop quiz, okay? So this is not homework. So I just want you all to write down your answer to these questions, all right?
When he was 9 years old, Ron, without my parents or myself knowing his whereabouts, decided to take a mile walk from our home down to the library, which was, of course, public library, but not so public for black folks
Okay.
when you're talking about 1959. So as he was walking in there, all these folks were staring at him because they were white folk only, and they were looking at him and said, who's this Negro? So he politely positioned himself in line to check out his books. Well, this old librarian, she says, this library is not for coloreds. He said, well, I would like to check out these books. She says, young man, if you don't leave this library right now, I'm going to call the police. So he just propped himself up on the counter and sat there and said, I'll wait. So she called the police and subsequently called my mother. Police came down, two burly guys come in and say, well, where's the disturbance? And she pointed to the little 9-year-old boy sitting up on the counter. He says, man, what's the problem? So my mother, in the meanwhile, she was called. She comes down there praying the whole way there. Lord Jesus, please don't let them put my child in jail. And my mother asked the librarian, what's the problem? Well, he wanted to check out the books. And your son shouldn't be down here. And the police officer said, why don't you just give the kid the books? And my mother said, he'll take good care of them. And reluctantly, the librarian gave Ron the books. And my mother said, what did you say? He said, thank you, ma'am. Later on, as youngsters, a show came on TV called Star Trek. Now, Star Trek showed the future where there were black folk and white folk working together.
Right.
And I looked at it as science fiction because that wasn't going to happen, really. But Ronald saw it as science possibility.
Mm-hmm.
He came up during a time when there was Neil Armstrong and all of those guys. So how was a colored boy from South Carolina wearing glasses, never flew a plane, how was he going to become an astronaut? But Ron was the one who didn't accept societal norms as being his norm. I mean, that was for other people. And he got to be aboard his own Starship Enterprise.
Okay, so this is the post test with answer choices. So I want you all to just write your answers down on a sheet of paper, okay? Okay, so this is the end of my presentation. I hope you all learned something from this, and I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week.